For the first time in 50 years, doctors in London say they have found a more effective treatment for asthma and COPD. During their study, they found a drug that was better at treating asthma attacks and reducing asthma-related hospitalizations compared to common steroid-based medications. Data from the CDC shows that a few thousand people in the U.S. die from asthma every year, but many experts believe those deaths are largely preventable with the right treatment. NBC News medical analyst Dr. Vin Gupta joins me now. Dr. Gupta, good to see you. What is the name of this medicine? How is it different from a traditional inhaler?
Well, it's a word jarble, benralizumab, but people may commonly know it as Fenra.
Okay.
That's a brand name. And so this is a medication that is actually, Vicky, has existed in the U.S. market for some time for maintenance therapy of severe allergic asthma. So this is different, though, and this is why we're so excited. This is something that we can actually give somebody who might be having an asthma exacerbation or a COPD exacerbation, going to the hospital with shortness of breath. Now, instead of giving, say, steroids, we can give this medication, and the results look good.
So why is it preferable to giving them steroids? Why do you want to avoid that?
You know, steroids unfortunately cause insomnia. People that have, viewers out there who have taken it, they can't sleep at night. It increases blood pressure. It can increase your blood sugars. Lots of side effects. It's actually a very difficult medication to tolerate. And so if we can spare the steroid dose or eliminate it entirely and focus on this therapeutic, that's a win-win.
So this was a study out of the UK. Yeah. Here in the US, this drug is available. What can you say to your doctor if you think this could help you?
You know, unfortunately, right now, the indications for use are not for an acute treatment. So that's going to take some time. It's not even available in the UK market quite yet. So this is probably at least 12 months out.
Okay.
But this is heralding the future here. 50 years, Vicky, we haven't had a new therapeutic for treatment of what is the third leading cause of death worldwide. So this is big news.
Wow, asthma is the third leading cause of death worldwide?
Asthma and COPD together, and so probably even bigger if you combine the two. But the burden here is so enormous. We've seen increased rates, frankly, over the last few years.
Why is that?
You know, we think probably, one, we're looking out for it more, better diagnostics, better training. But two, there's a lot more. We think that there's a correlation to environmental health and the fact that there's a lot more allergens out there that's probably exposing people.
You know, some people are born with asthma, but as you just mentioned, the environmental health changes and the pollution that we're seeing across the world. Is asthma something you can seriously develop, and when do you start to see those symptoms develop?
You know, it's really individual dependent. If you have a family history, then you can there's a strong chance you might develop it in childhood or all the way into adulthood. But that's the biggest risk, family history, childhood. Usually, potentially exposure, if you're growing up in areas with poor air quality, that can cause somebody to actually develop asthma that otherwise wouldn't. So that's why we're seeing both the family history and also environmental risks. That's what's posing this risk. And unfortunately, we have not had a good armamentarium of treatments the last several decades. And so we just give the sledgehammer of steroids, hope things improve. What we've seen in this study is actually the rates of treatment failure are almost 4 times lower with this new medication than with steroids. So, this very encouraging. Yeah,
very promising indeed.
But cautious.
I know. In 50 years, we haven't had anything new. So, all right, fingers crossed for folks that have asthma and COPD. Dr. Vin Gupta, as always, thank you so much. Stay with us, folks. Much more news. You're headed your way. You're watching NBC News Daily. You might know 90s pop sensation Ace of Base from their chart-topping hits like All That She Wants.